Hi, everybody. Happy May the 4th. Uh, it's Star Wars Day, so we figured we'd have a little stream together, just a chat. No Disney, no bad stuff. Keeping Badger completely level and on an even keel here, I promise. So, uh, how's everybody doing? Let's go around the room. Badger, we'll start with you. Badger, you're muted. Still fucking muted. Okay, fine. Junk shot. Tell us how you're doing today.
I'm doing all right. Assuming I'm audible, I'm doing all right.
You're a bit quiet.
Yeah, I said I had some problems with that the other night. I don't know what's. I may
That's
just have
better
to
when
project.
you get closer. Yeah.
There. I'll just get right up on this microphone here.
Where's Julie at?
She's in the chat. I'm not
She
sure
wants
where she
to
is
sit with
physically
you
at
and
the
come in.
moment.
That's fine. I know how much she loves Star Wars too. So.
Oh, she does. She does indeed.
Hey, Kate.
Hello.
Nice of you to join us.
Well, I almost didn't. It's 7 a.m. here.
Well, that's why I didn't ask you originally, because I figured it was just kind of early for you. But since I saw you in the chat, I was like, oh, just come in.
Well, hi.
So how about you? How are you doing?
I'm just barely awake. That's why I'm not on camera. I am suffering a severe appearance deficit. But other than that, I'm good.
Good. Dave, how you doing?
I'm okay. My camera keeps breaking.
Yeah, you have nothing up, so they're so fucking rude, by the way. Just so wrong.
You said it was Sci-Fi Day.
No, I did not. Badger, are you back yet? And you're still muted, by the way. No? Yes? Fine. Fuck you then.
It's clearly another sock problem.
Yes, he's looking for that fucking sock. Anyway, so I was trying to get Angel in, but he's, I don't know, doing something. It's fine. What we talk about our favorite, which one of our, I know we did a little bit of this yesterday on Rings, but not everybody saw it. So which one is your favorite of all the movies? Let's start with you, Junk Shot.
Well, I'm gonna be just super stupid obvious here. I like Empire best.
Yeah, that's a lot of people's favorite.
It's nice and dark. It's got a great twist. It's got, it introduces the Executor. It's got just all, the TIE bomber finally comes in. It's just good stuff.
Yeah. Good. Kate?
Well, yeah, I got to agree with Empire. I mean, part of it is just that it's the first one I saw. Like, I was way too young for A New Hope, and so I saw it like years later. But also, I just love the visual design of Cloud City. I mean, I adore it. I want to live in Cloud City, and that was a huge part of it. I think is it sort of shaped my taste in sci-fi, and also, I mean, it does have a much more in-depth story than A New Hope. And it doesn't have, cute little teddy bears like Return of the Jedi. So I'm going to go with Empire.
What's happening?
Where the fuck have you been?
It doesn't have is a really good space battle. That's one thing it doesn't have. They went with a land battle, and it was all right.
Let's get a cup of tea.
You could have said something. I asked you a few questions, and you're just gone.
I did say something while you were not there.
Basically, we've had this long discussion now about how much better the Disney films are. We thought you'd have an opinion on it, and not one bad thing you've said.
I'm going to slap you, Dave.
What's Disney? Never heard of it.
Nope. Don't know about the new movies either, so.
Yeah, nobody explained because they're awful.
Okay, So, Dave, I would ask you, but you would just tell me you don't fucking know, right?
No, I would say the best that I can remember is episode 1.
Like one or the first
Yeah.
one?
The first, no, as in episode 1, as in the Phantom Menace, as in the one with
What
Anakin.
Fuck, Dave.
What is
Weirdo.
wrong with you?
I mean, I got 2 words for you: Jar Jar.
That's only one word. Technically, it's a hyphenate.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatevs.
I liked the Anakin story.
So what's the question? What's the topic right now?
Oh, which is your favorite of the movies?
Empire.
Everybody's fucking answer, except for Dave because he's weird as fuck. Sorry.
Does it help that I can't remember the other 3?
Well, we know that.
Are we
so,
talking only of the originals or of the prequels as well?
any of them. You can pick whatever you want.
In that case, it comes down between Empire, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, and Return of the Jedi, and the other 6.
So all the Star Wars films then.
Well, the D word that we won't talk about.
Those aren't Star Wars films. Anyway.
Joke Shop, did you answer?
Yeah, Empire.
Yeah, you did.
Yep.
I don't want to answer. I mean, Empire is great, but I did love Return of the Jedi too. So
I liked a solid 80% of Return of the Jedi.
okay,
Yeah,
what
it
was the
did
20% that you didn't like?
The Battle of Endor was amazing.
Yes. And I mean, essentially everything non-Ewok. I loved the Ewoks when I was a kid, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. And, I love the Emperor. I love the design of the Imperial Guards. The score is possibly best out of the trilogy with the introduction of the men's choir to do the Emperor's theme. I do like it. I just don't love it as much as I love Empire. It's not quite dark enough to do it for me.
I'm
Ugh.
fine.
Dark. Sorry,
Say again?
I don't care for dark. It's not my thing. I prefer a more light-hearted romp.
I can respect that.
I can also respect that, but I like a bit of dark.
This is one of the reasons I hated the 1990s, is because every damn thing was dark.
Yeah, they had to, darkify everything, make everything sad and depressing.
If I could go back in time and make them never, ever, ever make The Crow, I'd be a very happy camper.
Well, and also Brandon Lee would still be alive too. So
Well, that too.
Yeah. The Crow, from what I've seen of it, is just, I think it's edgy for the sake of it, from what I've seen.
Well, that was the whole 90s.
Yep.
Not quite all.
Too much of it. I'll say too much of it. Anyway, Star Wars.
I'll agree a lot of it, but not quite all.
nope, tangents are cool here. Totally fine.
Okay. All right. But no, that's just been a sore point. Being a teenager in the 90s sucked.
It was
I
really
like
fucking
being a teenager in the
depressing.
90s.
Like, I mean, you're right. Even the music, everything. But I love the music now. I listen to mostly 90s music, so you're right about the movies.
I found a version of Smells Like Teen Spirit in a major key, and I actually love it.
See, I never liked Nirvana. So
Yeah.
All right.
Wow, did we talk about
Better.
everything about Star Wars and now we're done?
Strangely, no.
Go ahead, Badger. What were you gonna say?
I don't know. I didn't have a topic. I thought I was hoping that a topic would materialize in my brain in the process of me opening speaking, but it didn't happen.
Well, the worst part about Return of the Jedi was how it shamelessly ripped off Avatar.
Avatar.
I'm kidding.
That's the
I'm
one thing I was
kidding.
gonna say. Jesus
You talking about
Christ.
Last Airbender or the blue
Wait a
cat?
second.
Yeah, it's
I
just-
wasn't thinking that stupid movie with the blue people. I was thinking the comic of Avatar. So
what, the last
that's where I thought you were
Airbender?
going
Yes.
to. Yeah.
No,
That's what
no,
I-
no, no, no. I meant the Jimbo Cameron.
I know,
movie.
I do now. I fucking hated that movie. By the way, I don't care. It was
Really?
so overrated. So fucking.
It was over.
overrated.
I thought it was
I
a
just
good
watched
movie.
it
It was
again
overrated.
recently, and I thought it was brilliant.
I
No,
enjoyed
I can't.
Oh, I loved it.
I enjoyed it.
Like
Yeah.
I like how it turns out that their goddess Awa is real, but it's not actually a goddess. It's a real phenomenon on the planet. I thought that was really cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
I can't get past the ponytail sex. I'm sorry, I just can't.
What's wrong with ponytail sex?
I do like the discussion about whether, given all the things that George Lucas has made, I'd be very iffy around certain animals and him.
What?
Oh, you sick little monkey.
Mhm. What the fuck? Fine. Okay. So what do you guys? I know the answer for Dave is no, but everybody else, how much of the extended universe do you take in, and what of it is your favorite?
Not much, because I didn't. I don't know. Something about it did not sit well with me. It didn't feel like the Star Wars I had grown up with. I mean, the Thrawn trilogy was great, but then they started giving a lot of it to Michael Stackpole, who is a horrible, horrible hack. He, again, most of his stuff came out in the 90s, and he kept trying to turn Star Wars way the hell too dark. He wanted everyone wallowing in pathos, and it was just no fun.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the way if I rate things in the order of how much I like them, I would put the Star Wars prequels. I like them. They're fine. They're perfectly good. There's some bits that are a bit wonky. Then the Star Wars original trilogy. That's where it all began. It's all that's all awesome. Then I would say I get more lasting enjoyment from the expanded universe.
Okay.
The books are where it's at for me. That the books are what has kept me invested in Star Wars for literally decades.
Yeah. Junk Shop.
I'm a big fan of expanded universe up until Planet Twilight, the novel, because at that point it felt like too much creative control had been turned over to individual authors, and they started doing stupid shit. Who wrote Planet of Twilight? Was that Barbara Hambley?
It was Barbara Hamblin. Looking it up now.
Yeah, there was a she introduced the character of a Force-using Jedi. I'm sorry, Force-using Hutt Jedi, which is just stupid because at no point up until that time had Hutts been able to interact with the Force. That was the why your Jedi mind tricks won't work on me, boy. It's not because Jabba is so superior of intellect. It's because because Hutts don't interact with the Force for some reason. And,
Yeah, I was gonna mention that
introducing
this
a character
morning.
like that, it just completely popped me out of the universe, and I was like, oh, fuck this, I'm gonna go back and read the Thrawn trilogy again.
Well, we were talking about, using mind tricks on people this morning. I was thinking there are species that it just doesn't work on. It's not just about intellect, but there are certain species like that as well.
It's because how their brains go. Words. It's because their brains do not function in the same way as other species.
See, that doesn't even make sense. What would make sense is if they had some sort of natural immunity to midichlorians.
Yeah. But that's the issue, though.
That face!
There were no metachlorians in the original trilogy.
I know.
Okay.
That's a point, Kate, that you brought up in a previous discussion we had on this.
Yeah, because we were only discussing the original trilogy and never got to midichlorians.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's talk about that.
I agreed with your statement in that previous discussion.
Well, yeah. Well, for those who weren't there, midichlorians did not change a damn thing about the Force whatsoever. It's still a mystical energy field created by all living things. The Force is. The midichlorians are just an interface. That's all. It changed nothing about the lore except explained a little bit about how people use the Force, like how they're able to.
It's literally just putting a sciencey name on the thing that makes people Force able.
Yeah, well, Force sensitive is usually how they call it, but yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The term Force sensitive, I think, didn't appear until after midichlorians appeared.
Really? I don't know. It's the only term I remember hearing, but still, yeah, it's like, why else would someone have a natural ability?
Now the term Force sensitive, it's been in the lore for a while. It was even in the old collectible card game. It was a classification. Like there was Force sensitive, and then there was Force user, and then there was a higher designation. I don't remember what the third level was.
I mean, truthfully, the only thing that bothered me about midichlorians was the name. Speaking as someone who's played around with digital music quite a bit, MIDI means something to me, and calling them midichlorians kind of bugged me a little. But that's a personal thing. I can't bitch too much about it.
Yeah. I get that.
My view on it is quite similar in that I don't think they actually detract from it at all. I think that it's just putting a vaguely sciencey sounding name on the idea of being Force sensitive, as you said, in order to so basically they could plug a chip into a scanner and go, this guy's got Force in him.
Yeah, a way to measure it, because the way it was presented, I think, in the original trilogy is it was just like certain people attracted the Force, and then it was an explanation. I agree that it doesn't change anything, but I also didn't love it because it was, I don't know, I feel like the idea of it being more not magical, but you know what I mean, as opposed to really, and I'm a scientist, I love science, but in this case, I didn't want it to be a really specific scientific explanation for it. I liked the magic of it before, and imagining, certain people just being more Force sensitive. It had nothing to do with what was in their bloodstream.
Well, I mean, I have to admit that I like that there is an explanation for it. I never really felt that it had to be this mystical, magical thing. I'm hearing what you said from a lot of people, that they wanted the Force to stay like mystical, magical, and all of that. But then I'm like, why are some people more sensitive to it? Like, how did that come about?
You need some way to
I definitely, the one thing I couldn't stand in the prequels was how Anakin was the quote-unquote chosen one. I hate the idea of a chosen one. That's so silly.
How could you have a chosen one if he's not chosen?
Yeah.
Well,
but it was the will of the Force.
Yeah. My thing with the Force, the midichlorians, is just, I forgot it. Where was it? Oh, that was it. It's the difference in storytelling between having a hard magic system and a soft magic system. I much prefer a hard magic system where the rules are more clearly defined, because I'm just that way.
If they're more clearly defined, how can you change them as you go along?
I like there to be a bit of vagueness, but for the core principles of the system to be understood.
Yeah, because then you could have any old damn rules you want to at any old damn time that completely break continuity, or it's just like, wow, you invented that for the moment, didn't you? And you'll probably never mention it again, will you?
Yeah. It's like Superman suddenly having a ability to look at the Great Wall of China and fix it with his vision. Well, you pulled that out your ass, didn't you?
Seraphim asked, what is our favorite Star Wars race? So, nothing better like that. Go ahead, Badger.
No, don't go to me first. I've got to think about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever Yoda is.
That was you mean? I thought, okay. You need to explain which kind of like race, like space race or race of alien, because I don't know which you mean. So
Yeah, in
Oh,
that case, my
I
favorite space
assume-
race is the Kessel Run.
yeah, I mean obviously
Yeah.
No.
you can't say pod racing because that's just. Although, admittedly, in that movie,
It's
the pod
sport.
racing was kind of
It's
cool.
not.
The problem
not
with
what jumped out.
the problem
Oh,
with this
and Bari, come on, Ken.
there are literally thousands of sentient species in the Star Wars expanded universe.
I've
You know
worked
what? I'm
out
going to
why
go with humans. It's a little, obvious, but I'm going to go with the humans. Most of the others, you don't really learn much about them in the movies anyway. So I'd just be picking the aesthetics I like best.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she meant species, by the way. So
I'm going to go with aesthetics, and I'm going to pick the following: Chiss, and let's go with them first. And I may have some other ones that I'll bring up in a bit. The Chiss are the blue people with red eyes that Thrawn is.
So, Dave, you pick Yoda because there's only 3 of his species.
Well, there's got to have been more.
I know there has to have been more, but what we know of,
No, there are slightly more than that expanded universe, but not very many more. There's like 5 if you include all the expanded universe.
Where do they come from?
Where do they
we
go?
don't. That's the point of Yoda is that we don't know any
Front row.
at all. It was
Oh.
like specific to George Lucas. He wanted his species and everything to be, a complete mystery.
He didn't just want a magic version of Kermit.
I would pick Wookiees, maybe. Am I cutting out? Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Just a
Dave?
little bit, yeah.
If I cut out, you're in charge. So my Wi-Fi is being iffy. But I pick Wookiees. So, and you learn a lot in like the Clone Wars and stuff. You learn a lot more about the different species. You don't know so much about them within the movies, but in a lot of the expanded universe, you find out different things about each of the major species, at least. So.
I've got the Clone Wars on disc, and I don't know. I would love Star Wars stories that don't in any way involve Jedi, Sith, lightsabers, anything. I would give a left body part for a Rogue Squadron series starring like Wedge Antilles as the main character.
Because Wedge is objectively the best character in Star Wars.
Absolutely. I mean, come on, that guy is absolutely
Which
badass. He
Wedge?
survived every battle during the rebellion. He survived the Battle of Yavin,
Dave,
the Battle of Hoth, the Battle of Endor. He ends up being the commander of Rogue Squadron. Wedge Antilles is an absolute badass.
Dave, have you seen original? Have you seen A New Hope?
Yes. I don't really
Okay.
remember much about it. though.
Right, you know the bit in A New Hope when Luke is flying along and he's got a TIE fighter following him around and he's waiting for his friend Biggs to come and rescue him, and Biggs doesn't show up. The guy who does show up is Wedge Antilles.
I don't remember that.
It's all right.
Well, okay. In Empire, he's the one who manages to trip an Imperial
the move
Walker
called
with his toe
The
cable.
Corellian
I remember that.
slip.
So no, he's seriously the best character, and he's the most unsung, which sucks.
Yeah, he's just a great guy all round. He's not full of himself. Like when he does the badass bit and he rescues Luke. Luke says thanks, Wedge, and Wedge just goes okay and carries on. He's not at all full of himself. He's not presumptuous. He doesn't blow his own trumpet. He just shows up and saves everyone.
Yeah.
Thought that was
Look.
Luke's job.
What was that, Dave?
Luke
Thought that
wouldn't,
was Luke's job.
Luke wouldn't have been able to do shit without Wedge.
Kate, for me, the Clone Wars, I mean, the movie sucked. The first couple seasons weren't great, but my son is obsessed with the Clone Wars. He's seen like today actually was they released the very last episode of the whole series. We haven't watched it yet. But
it's
it
still
just was such a yeah, they finished it. They did another season this year. It had been off for a while, but yeah, so he grew up with it, and he's got like at least 20 clone action figures. Like he fucking loved it, and that's why to me it became important. So
Okay, from not having seen either, right? When you say he got 20 action figures from something called the Clone Wars, are they not all the same?
no, they're different clones.
Okay.
Because each clone has a different person. Like he's got a few multiples, especially like Captain Rex, like the real major characters. But no, that's kind of the point of the Clone Wars is you get to see the clones as individuals. And so right now, the last season, halfway through the last season, they started Order 66. So you see Order 66 from the clones' vantage point, but you know them as people now. They're not just, clones that with no names and no faces that kill the Jedi.
Well, unless they're really remorseful about it, the clones are kind of assholes.
I mean, they had no choice. It was a chip in their head.
Oh, see, I barely remember anything about this show. And I was looking on my shelf, and it turns out that I have like a whole disc of Star Wars Rebels, and I don't remember even watching it.
Yeah, in fact, I don't like Rebels. Angel keeps trying to get me to watch it because there's a lot of Mandalorian shit in it that he says is good. Badger, I don't know. But yeah, I couldn't get into Rebels. It was too it was too oriented toward children. Clone Wars, not so much.
I remember the first time I heard the title, I was like, ooh, the rebellion. And then I'm like, oh, of course, the one dude has to be force sensitive with a fucking lightsaber. I mean, there is so much more to Star Wars than that. And they could expand on so much of it. And it seems like they have to throw in a force user character every damn time. Mm-hmm. Like it can't be Star Wars without it. And that's bull.
Here's my issue with the Mandalorian stuff in Rebels. It follows on from the Mandalorian stuff in the Clone Wars, which starts off completely wrong.
How so?
Because it starts off with Mandalore being a desert, which is completely wrong, and with it being ruled by a pacifist leader, which is completely wrong.
Well, that's because they say that there's two different parts of the Mandalore culture. You have the fighters, the Mandalorians as we know it, and then we have the pacifists who
no. As well as that, it's wrong for me on two counts. One, that does not at all fit Mandalorian culture at all, and two, it contradicts my favorite book series.
Well, the books aren't canon anymore, right? It is so easy to tweak people with that.
I will go up and I will slap Disney in its collective face.
All right, we got to move away from the D word. We're all going to lose our damn minds.
Oh, by the way, somebody remind me to slap Hissy later, because Hissy has tweeted me on the Twitters and replied to my "May the 4th be with you" tweet with a picture of Spock.
Yeah, I keep getting shit like that, so just ignore it.
Can I go off
Jen
on a brief tangent?
What is the best Star Wars character?
Can I real quick go off on a brief tangent that has nothing to do with Star Wars because Badger brought it up?
Sorry.
See, here's one thing. Like I keep going off on how Star Wars always has to have a Jedi character. I would love to see a Star Trek series that has nothing to do with Starfleet.
Oh, that'd be good.
Follow around a Harry Mudd style character, but please TNG era. Anyway, I'm done with that part.
Have something focused on one of the Klingon houses.
Well, I mean, I'd like to see just an independent civilian citizen type person rather than someone who's a member of any kind of organized group,
Oh, I'd love a Star Trek series based on the Maquis.
Okay,
You could
that's
certainly
could
do
be
something,
interesting.
Mark.
That could be
You-
very
Mark,
interesting.
You could do the Cardassian on Bajor.
Yeah.
No, I don't really like the Kardashians. Kidding, kidding.
I'd like to see them take over a planet. They're doing a damn good job at the moment.
I'd like to see a whole series on that resistance movement.
That
Yes.
could be interesting. But anyway, I just had to, yeah, because
Star
that's
Wars.
something that I've wanted to see for years, and they'll never do it. But
No.
it's kind of like there's probably a lot of Star Wars stuff I've wanted to see for years, and they'll never do it. But whatevs.
Same.
Okay, so we have a question from the chat. What is the best comic relief character from Jen?
Ugh.
And if any of you say fucking Jar Jar, I'm kicking you.
Nah,
Here's the problem. Jar Jar is the only one I know that I would class
Yeah,
as comic
What
relief.
about like C-3PO?
Jar
That's
Jar's
kind of
not
comic
that
relief.
funny.
Or
Is
R2.
C3 Would you
Or
say
Ewok.
C3PO is comic relief?
but they're also legit part of the story. They're not just there for laughs.
Yeah,
No, I
but
know,
Jar
but-
Jar's not even that
Okay.
fun.
What about the It's a Trap General?
He's
What,
not
you
a
mean
comic
Admiral
relief
Akbar?
character.
Yes. Okay,
But
I'll
that was
take
never
that.
intended as humor.
Well, in which
It's
case I have
not-
to go. I have to go with Jar Jar then.
Fuck off. Yes,
Um,
there's Akbar. Nice.
I like the mouse droid.
Oh,
Because-
yes.
Because honestly, it's a very ignorable part of humor where like the Jawas falling off that big old creature they're riding and you know being all slapsticky is just so stupid. But the mouse droid is this brief moment of, oh wow, Chewbacca intimidated a tiny little Roomba. Big deal. You know, you can ignore it is the thing. Where it like a lot of the other comic relief just sort of seems to break the universe for me. Like because I want my Star Wars to feel sort of like real life, you know. But
I-
but
I'm-
the slapstick parts make it you can't take it seriously anymore.
I vote for the stormtrooper that banged his head on the doorframe.
Nah,
But that wasn't intentional. If that had been intentional, it would have been brilliant.
I mean, I know the Ewoks are more than just comic relief, but they do provide some chuckles.
But yeah,
So
I do see what you mean about the slapstick, but I like a little bit of it.
Junk Shop, you want to say something?
Sorry, my my feed broke up just a little during the question. Was the question comic relief moment or comic relief
Character.
Character. Okay. That I'm gonna have to let percolate. I love so many of the little weird moments.
Okay,
I'm-
that's fine.
I might actually go with Boss Nass
Really?
because for several reasons. One of the main ones is he's voiced by Brian Blessed.
well, he is awesome.
Yeah.
It's just I also like that his noise for deciding things is.
I think Angel has 3 Bosks, so gotta use all of them. You know, many years of collecting the shit. You think of something, Junk Shop?
Oh, the I can't remember her name, but the worm creature that's the first thing you see in the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Ah, okay.
I'm drawing a blank on her name, but she ended in the expanded universe. She ended up going on to fight in the Battle of Hoth. She was the what's his face, the Wolfman's lover.
Wasn't
but
she a bounty hunter?
I am not getting an image in my head. But which one's the worm creature?
Well, it's literally it looks like the Dianoga eye except with teeth. It's the first cut inside the Mos Eisley Cantina. She pops up and just kind of swivels in the
When-
frame.
when
And
the-
it's
when
just
the droid
it's such a
detective-
brilliant moment of what the fuck was that?
Let me look. Hang on. I'm just going to get the whole scene up and figure out what's going on. Oh, that one with the gold eye.
Oh no
Oh!
no, you're right. The gold eyes is the first thing you see. Yeah,
Hang on.
she pops into frame. It's her and the Wolfman, except they took her out in the special edition and put something else in instead, which was such a shame because she was a great character in the expanded universe.
There's the Wolfman with the glowy red eyes.
Is it still taken out of the Disney version?
Let me see if I can find the original.
Okay. Well, until then, my next question is this. So
I haven't seen the
newer.
post Disney.
Oh, don't bother. There's
So.
anyway. So Anakin, was prophesized to be the one to bring balance to the Force. Do you think he did that?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
I mean, for one thing, did they really want balance in the first place? What good is balance? It's like, why not make it all light side, which seemed to be what they were trying to do. So again, how is that balance?
I think they thought by balance it would get rid of the dark side altogether.
But that makes no sense because balance would mean having power on both sides.
Well,
Yeah,
not
it would mean it'd
necessarily.
have to be the Minbari Grey Council to be balance. They'd have to stand between the lightness and the dark, the candle and the star, etc., etc.
Not necessarily think that they are the right ones, but calm and peace is balance.
Technically, if you look at it, that Anakin reduced the amount of Jedi and Sith to 2 of each, then kind of did, but then you have expanded universe where there's actually more of each and other stuff. So overall, I think no.
Junk shop. You there?
He's doing the laggy face.
Okay. Dave, did you answer?
Within the confines.
He's gesturing wildly.
Oh no.
Okay, you said oh no, and then your mouth moved to make the oh no face about 5 seconds later.
Oh hell's bells.
It's okay, honey.
Oh,
3
did?
seconds. You got a 3-second delay between your voice and your face.
Isn't that normal?
For me, yes.
3 seconds is good.
Yeah.
So this is why I talk while moving my mouth as little as possible, so people don't notice the delay.
Maybe I'll just
Hey.
let me see if this is any better.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that
Apart
instead.
from you've got that weird facial hair again.
Yeah, well, I get bored easily. What can I tell you?
You can probably tell us a lot of things.
All right, I've got a super nerd question. Whilst we're doing this anyway, the
Excellent.
design of the B-wing fighter,
Yeah.
genius or stupid?
Stupid.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a few of them that.
Just a sec. Let me reach up to my shelf and get my B-wing down.
Honestly, the best fighter there is the A-Wing.
The A-wing,
Oh.
absolutely.
I'm
I
gonna
don't
go
understand
with
how any of the other designs can actually target anything at
I
any
don't
kind
get-
of distance.
I don't get why they bothered having a swivelly cockpit on the B-wing. What is the point? Why?
It looks cool when they deploy the first time, but beyond that, you think about it for more than about 3 seconds, and you're like, what is the point of this thing? How does it work?
A wings are fine. Y wings are fine. X wings are fine. B wings are a bit silly.
Now, one thing I have to say that the design of the X-Wing, while it looks cool, is actually utter shite. And I'll explain why. I am an animator. and I have tried to animate spaceships where the guns are way the hell out on the edge of the wing, and it's impossible to aim those things properly. Like I've used particle systems to shoot whatever, laser blasts or whatever you want to call them out of my ships, and you have to like point the ship way to the side of the target to actually hit it with, using a straight line. So, I mean, X-Wings are just goofy. You want to put the guns as close to the cockpit as possible.
Unless the guns are angled inwards a bit, in which case they have a very limited effective range.
I mean, unless they swivel,
They'd have to swivel.
to lock in on a target, it makes no sense.
They have to swivel.
But I mean, we never see the X-Wing
They
weapons
don't have to
swivel at
swivel
all.
on the outside necessarily.
Yeah.
You only need
No,
30
the
degrees
X-Wing's
of
guns
movement,
are
and they're
fixed.
lasers, so it can be done with mirrors internally.
Actually, they're not so much lasers.
Are they not?
No. In
It's,
fact, I'm not sure there's even one laser in Star Wars that doesn't come out of the Death Star.
It's plasma. My brain's full now. It's gas. They're shooting gas and stuff. It's plasma.
Yeah. Although, okay, did anyone else twinge a bit when Anakin called a lightsaber a laser sword?
It's the
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's a city slave boy.
Yeah.
So
the phrase from the technical journal was explosive coherent light energy.
yeah.
I mean, I can't. I like the TIE Fighter because I just like the look of it. And I think that's a stupid reason. But I mean, I have TIE Fighters everywhere. Angel knows that I love them. It's just the X-Wing is cool looking too, but the TIE Fighter is just such a cool looking ship. It really is. But you're right. It's not the best for fighting. It isn't.
All right.
I like the TIE Interceptor far more than the TIE
And
Fighter.
I was about to ask next
Silence
question
falls.
for everyone. Favorite Imperial spacecraft?
The TIE Interceptor.
Anyone else?
Still TIE Fighter.
TIE Fighter, TIE Interceptor, Jump Shot.
In fact, I got one huge one on the floor up here.
Ooh,
So.
which one?
Which TIE Fighter? Just the normal one. I don't know.
Jump Shot, which one? Jump Shot! He's
Don't-
frozen again.
All right, fine. Well, Jeff had somebody had a question.
Orbital ship and a fighter.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That is some hardcore lag, apparently.
Yeah, it happens with Junk Shop. It's fine. Favorite Sith and favorite Jedi.
Uh, well, I never really experienced much of the expanded universe because I sort of, like I said, didn't care for a lot of it. So really, the only ones I know are from the movie, or from the movies, rather. And there's only so many Sith in that. I mean, Darth Maul, they should have developed his character more.
They did the Clone Wars, by the way.
Yeah, but I mean, in the movies, they should have done it. He was sort of just there to hold a lightsaber, and that was it. So gotta go with Vader over the Emperor for favorite Sith. And, man, I'm so torn between young Obi-Wan or Luke. Because, I mean, old Obi-Wan, big fat hairy deal.
You see, I could be an asshole and pick one character for both.
I was going to pick Anakin.
I wasn't
Valid
even going to pick
choice.
anything.
Well, who are you going to pick, Badger?
Well, it's not my actual pick, but I'm going to say Jason Solo.
Jason Solo.
Yeah.
I thought the Solos didn't have any horsepower.
Leia Does
Yeah, but,
Han
but
Solo
they're the
marry
spawn of
Leia,
like
so
Han and
Solo
Leia,
goes
aren't
to-
they? And Leia had plenty of
My
force.
bad. Sorry, I forgot that there were kids there.
Yeah, Jason Solo is the character that Kylo Ren is a low quality ripoff of.
Okay. I would say Qui-Gon from Jedi. He's always going to be my favorite.
I should come up with a non-asshole answer, shouldn't I?
Yep.
And I think Raven, however you want to say it, is probably my favorite Sith. So
Okay. For the Sith, I'm gonna go with Count Dooku because his lightsaber is awesome.
Mm,
that's very true.
The Jedi. I'm gonna come back to it because I need to check how to pronounce it.
Okay. There it is. Hey, jump up.
Hi.
Okay. For Jedi, I'm going to pick a chap who I've only read his name. I've never heard it spoken because he's a book character. So if I was to pronounce it how I would read it Barden Jussic.
Drawing a blank on that one.
Yeah, he's from the Republic Commando books. I would pick him, but he only qualifies until about midway through the book series because he leaves the Jedi Order.
At least nobody picked Ahsoka because that would have pissed me off.
I'm
Did you
gonna
pick
reach
jump up?
way back for this one. I like Jorwas Kayoth from the Thrawn
Oh,
trilogy.
interesting.
Yeah, you're still laggy.
He's kind of an asshole, though.
Yeah.
He's
Not junk shop, I mean the character.
well, yeah. Damn it. All right, let me try that. Shit.
Junk shop.
Just got the joke. Brilliant.
Junk shop, your pick's an asshole.
Julie says her favorite Jedi is Yoda and Sith is Vader. So
It's hard to beat Yoda.
Sidious managed it.
well, I gotta say, it's pretty easy to beat Yoda as long as you get consent first and he's into you. Although I have no idea what his safe word is.
He is
Kate,
not allowed that sort of relationship.
what was that, Dave?
He's not allowed that sort of relationship. He's a Jedi.
Yes,
No,
but it's
you
a
know where that
joke. Cope with it.
That's not quite how the Jedi Code works.
What? You're allowed brutal BDSM, but it's just not feelings about it.
You are allowed to feel passionate about things, but not to feel attachment.
You know, if
Which
they
is-
did a series crossover, Vulcans would be the ultimate Jedi.
Yeah.
Kate,
Yo.
you can share your picture now. He's here.
Oh, I closed the window. Give me a sec.
What do you think about the Jedi rules, though? Do you think that's just asking for trouble, just keep him out of relationships and stuff like that? I mean, it doesn't exactly work for the Catholic Church, so why should it work for the Jedi?
Well, it actually makes perfect sense with the Jedi. They actually have magical powers, unlike the Catholic Church.
That's true.
That's true.
Well, going by the armor I'm wearing, you can probably guess my opinion of the Jedi Order.
I thought you were naked.
With just the Star Wars socks on.
Yes.
Or the one. 'Cause
The
I couldn't
one.
find the other one. Don't ask where he's wearing it, though. Sorry, Badger.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
my goodness.
any other questions? I want to ask the favorite battle, but I was waiting for Angel to come in for that. He will tell you about his favorite battle for a fucking hour at least. So,
Oh,
Well, favorite battle, I gotta go with torn between Yavin and Endor. But Endor, I mean, I gotta say, much more impressive visually, but not as cool in the story, I think.
plus,
How
isn't
do
the
you
Battle of
define a
Yavin? What was that, Dave?
How do you define a battle?
Fighting?
lots of people's fighting each other.
Yeah, trying to kill each other on both sides.
Would the Death Star blowing up?
Yeah, I guess you can
What's
call
that
it that because they
basic
did.
planet?
There was like dogfighting stuff as they were trying to get toward the Death Star. So,
Yeah, that's
Okay,
about.
there's that picture, by the way.
Ooh, what we got?
that's awesome.
He's
Hey,
back.
jump out.
Maybe.
Okay, Badger, did you answer?
No. Give me a sec. Oh. I'm going to try and pick a favorite battle from the films, because otherwise I'll be here for hours.
Yeah, probably.
Screw it. Battle of Hoth.
Really?
Huh. Weird.
That surprises me. It really does.
I like it because it's more of an escape than a battle.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a battle, but the purpose isn't for the rebels. It's not to win. It's just to get away.
Yeah. The AT-ATs are cool as fuck.
Mhm.
So, the Battle of Yavin, it's a part of the timeline now. Like they count everything from the Battle of Yavin, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I say the Battle on Mandalore, even though it's extended universe or expanded universe, whatever, it was such a big deal. But I would have to go Endor for the movies, just because I don't know. It's visually awesome. It's underdogs and it's just a good battle, I think. So
Yeah, that's pretty good.
yeah. Jump shot?
What is it? Favorite battle?
Yeah, favorite battle.
Favorite battle. Okay, Battle of Endor.
You want to say why?
It's so over the top. You just can't help but love it. The capital ships are dying off right and left. You've got 300 TIE interceptors screaming around everywhere. What's his face goes on the suicide run to take out the Executor, which then crashes into the Death Star, which is a spectacular shot. There's just no bad there. It's a fantastic space battle.
Yeah, it really is.
If I'm going for the expanded universe, I'm going to say the Battle of Coruscant as told from the perspective of the Republic Commando books. Even though it fucking emotionally ruined me.
Oh, how so?
I can't tell you without spoilers.
Okay.
You should read those books.
I'm sure we have them. I read some of the comics and some of the books. I haven't read as much as you, Badger, or Angel, or anybody.
Okay, I'll tell you this much. There's constant tension throughout. The battle itself doesn't matter, but the tension for the characters, the little group of characters the book focuses on, the tension is everything.
Okay, gotcha. Kate, did you answer?
Yeah. Yeah, I said I was torn between Yavin and Endor. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go with Endor, and I'll tell you why. Because it's ground and space at the same time.
Oh yeah. That's a good
That's
point.
why.
Dave,
I already answered.
well, answer again. I wasn't listening.
Where the Death Star blew up. I keep calling it Endor. It's not Endor, is it? It's Aldridge.
Aldridge.
Is that the right word? Where
No.
does Leia come from?
Alderaan.
There we go, Alderaan.
That wasn't a battle. That was a war crime.
I asked whether or not what counted as a battle. They said it was fine.
No, we said the Death Star one was fine. We didn't say blowing up fucking Alderaan was fine.
I said when it blew. I asked whether or not when it blew up the planet.
You said blew up the Death Star.
I will second that. You said blew up the Death Star.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
The Death Star blew up, and then I got interrupted by someone. As in, the Death Star blew up the planet. All
Oh,
right, then I need another one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll go for the one. Is it the one that's in the stadium where all the Jedi turn up to fight lots of droids? That was a pretty cool battle. Lots of lightsabers, lots of bouncing bolts.
Yeah. Very visually good.
Yes.
All right. Anything else to add, anybody?
about that question or about everything ever?
Oh, Jen says Battle of Takadana. Yeah, that's a good one too. Anything. Or the battle, whatever. Want to
Battle.
bit measure? Go ahead.
Let me see. There was one battle. Battle involving Thrawn and the Outbound Flight Project.
Okay. Somebody just asked me if I would debate Darth Dawkins, and no, probably not.
Wait. Would you debate him on Star Wars?
Okay,
I would kick his ass on that name anyway, by the way. That pisses me off.
I have sent him my email address many times, and he has never taken me up on the offer.
You know, I was in a stream where he popped into the chat at one point and he kept saying, debate me, debate me, debate me. And we kept saying, sure, let's schedule a specific stream for it, not right now. And he was like, haha, you're cowards. And it's like, dude, we just told you we'll debate you, just not now because we're in the middle of a stream. And he wouldn't accept it.
Yep, that's been my experience
That's
with him.
par for the course.
He only asks you to debate because he wants to say, they won't debate me.
Mm.
Oh, these
Whereas
are
when you say, yeah, I'll debate you, email me, we'll set it up, he just doesn't do it.
these are his trolls, the stock accounts.
Oh, is he in the chat now? I can't see the chat.
chat. Hang on, let me have a look.
Somebody's asking me, so.
Oh, yeah, then that's just him.
All right, he looks
He
really awake.
He's been awake for 2 fucking hours.
1 second, and I will look at the chat and see if it's see what's going on.
He was all over Chris's stream this morning.
That's a really good thumbnail, by the way.
But Darth or the person in my chat right now? Junk shot.
Oh, I don't know who's in the chat right now, but he was in with like 6 different sock accounts all over Chris's
Fucking
stream.
does that.
Yeah.
So
probably-
everybody who doesn't know, this is Angel. Angel meet Junk Shot Badger, Dave, and Kate. Say hi.
Hello.
We were just talking about our favorite battle, so you're up.
You made me come.
So that's up to you. Favorite battle
Uh,
and why?
uh,
Yes, you fucking do.
I'm fucking tired, dude. I can't be here.
It's not my fault you stay up till like 5 in the morning.
It's not my fault that you woke me up at 9.
You knew I was waking you up.
No.
Yes, you did. We had this discussion last night.
By the way, Amanda, I just want to say, I figured out where my socks went. It's in your fucking chat.
Nice one. Favorite battle. Go ahead.
Favorite battle. God, there's a lot of them.
Well, just pick one. It doesn't matter.
Would I be a bitch to just say Umbara like everybody else does?
No, nobody said Umbara.
What's Umbara?
Go
It's
ahead, talk about it.
It was during the Clone Wars, this big old battle between the 501st, and they weren't actually fighting mostly separatists at the time. It was one of those rare battles where they're actually fighting other, like, entire fucking planet of people.
Can I just check? Are these the guys with the glowy visors?
The glowy visors. It wasn't glowy. They're very like pale skinned people, but kind of. I think. Yeah, it was like blue. They had very
I
alien technology.
Find them.
Yeah, and then the Jedi guy, Pong Krell. Anakin wasn't with them at the time, except he was there for the first part, and Pong Krell came in as like a replacement for Anakin, leading the 501st. Except he was really, really shitty. He would purposefully do things and order the men around in ways in which that would get them killed, like just making them do the stupidest strategies. And they finally figured out, hey, he's doing this on purpose. And then they killed the motherfucker.
They had to. They had no choice. He was gonna have them all killed. So.
But Pong Krell took out like at least a good like 50 guys before that though.
If Anakin had been there, he would have figured it out sooner, right? But he purposely didn't want Anakin there because he wanted to kill off the clones.
Well, it's not like, all right, he didn't choose for Anakin not to be there. He was called back for something.
And just took advantage of the situation then.
Yeah.
What are you showing, Badger?
I'm hoping that Pong Krell's up on the screen.
Oh, yes, he is. Okay, I saw that. No, he's not. But and the 501st was Anakin's unit mostly, so him not being there was interesting. Yeah, it was weird for them. 501st is, Captain Rex, and Ahsoka was technically the commander. Fuck Ahsoka though. But yeah, so thanks, Badger. All right, how about favorite Imperial ship?
Imperial.
TIE Interceptor.
those are cool. But they had this legend, or I think it was legends. I don't know. It's like a bigger version of the standard Imperial landing craft that just looked hella cool. Forgot what it was called exactly, but it was,
I just want to add to the Pong Krell bit that he's a massive show-off and has altogether too many lightsabers.
yeah, he was literally like a polar opposite to Anakin, because Anakin would always lead in the very front lines, like, in front of his men, not behind. And then Pong Krell, he was never in the front of the battle. He's just always in the back yelling at the guys what to do. So
He looks like he's halfway to your too many arms scenario earlier, Dave.
Yeah.
He's got 4 arms and 2 double-bladed lightsabers. It's giving a massive show-off.
She's fine. She's fine. Fine. All right, fine. Go get her. Sorry. You can go get the dog real quick. She's barking. Thank you, honey.
How do I make this?
Let's really mess with people. Change my icon to something that's got nothing to do with Star Wars.
It's all right.
You and Dave.
Mine's the height of Star Wars.
Dave was fucking mean what he did, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm one of the only Last Starfighter fans that I know who really, 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 really loves that movie to the point where I've totally got the Last Starfighter tattoo on my right arm.
Do you really?
I do.
And it is
What's your tattoo,
magnificent.
What was that?
Who is Chris, Destroyer of Darth Dawkins?
That would be me, the Destroyer of Darth Dawkins. Who I saw has graced the chat. Hey, Darthy boy.
You
This
know,
is
I've
the
never
first time I
actually-
think he's come to me, though.
I've
Feel
never
like-
actually eaten atheist pasta. What's that like?
He's been in my chat.
Well, it's a little bit like fettuccine, but yeah, slightly more interesting, I think.
Gotcha.
Yeah. with an accent. It's the Australian twist.
With an accent.
Mm. I wish I had an Australian accent. That accent's cool.
It is.
Ah.
Chris is our Russell Crowe, so looks and sounds
Only when
like
he's acting, not when he's singing. Okay.
There we go.
He could sing.
No, he can't. No, he absolutely. Russell Crowe is a very, very famous Australian actor, and he's a Kiwi singer. That's the rules. I didn't make them.
Okay, Chris, how about you? Favorite battle?
Oh, the Battle of Wolf 359 when the Borg
Gosh,
absolutely
no.
decimated.
Got Star Trek.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's the 5th of May where I am. So,
Wait,
favorite
359, wasn't that the one with crystalline entity, not the Borg?
favorite battle is probably the one at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. I love the way that the camera pans up and it's kind of the battle's happening. It was the first time that they ever panned a different way into at the start of a Star Wars movie.
Fun fact, that was in the original draft, that was supposed to be an almost 4-hour-long movie, with the first entire hour of it just being the Battle of Coruscant, both featuring ground and space battle.
That would have gotten super dull after a while.
I reckon they could have pulled it off.
It depends on how they did it. I mean, the Battle of Winterfell was like an hour and 20 minutes, and they were able to do that okay, I think. Not to bring up GOT into this, but I'm just saying, if you do it right, you can have a battle for a long time. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if you think about it, the first 20 minutes of the actual movie is the Battle of Coruscant anyways, so putting another 40 minutes there, especially considering that they had absolutely none of what the ground battle was. Like, for example, we completely miss out on the whole Grievous kidnapping the Chancellor part. That would have been cool to see. I mean, we see that in the 2003 version, but I don't think that's technically canon anymore. At least not fully.
What wasn't didn't they cover that in the Clone Wars? And I haven't seen the Clone Wars. I'm embarrassed to say I haven't seen the Clone Wars, but didn't they cover that in the newer Clone Wars?
The very last arc is it ties into it. It's pretty much it's going on at the exact same time. You know, we get occasional updates on what happens. Like, we know at which point Dooku dies. You know, we know some more background stuff. Okay. And there was other parts of the last season that was cut too. Like, for example, they were supposed to have an entire arc where Obi-Wan and Anakin are on Utapau, and that's how they end up discovering how Grievous is on there. So it's not just we get a lot more context to everything in the movie with stuff like that.
One of the big problems I felt with the movies was that there were so many characters with so much potential that they just killed off almost immediately. Like, I would have liked to have known more about General Grievous, but he's just there to hold the lightsabers and look cool. And that's it. He has no story in the movies, but if you go looking at the expanded universe, all of a sudden, no, look, he's deep. It's frustrating.
He's deep. He and fucking Obi-Wan just need to get it over with and sleep together, I think. Because it's always the two of them going after each other. And one ends up killing the other anyway. Do I have to say that?
Relationship is one of my favorite
That's too
things.
much.
Their whole trolling back and forth relationship is one of my favorite things about that whole time period. Just General Kenobi!
Every fucking time, though. They're always going after each other, and Kenobi's always taken off on some fucking weird animal or something at the end of it. So
I just really quickly want to say, Amanda, and this is something that I'm sure everyone realizes, but the fact that your son knows so much about Star Wars and can hold an intelligent conversation and knows what Utapau is, that's a parenting win. You should really take that as a parenting win. You have won parenting.
Thank you. This is his most knowledgeable subject, to be honest with you.
I mean, I'm pretty pumped whenever my 3-year-old in the morning says, "Daddy, can we watch Darth Vader?" She just wants to watch the bit at the end of Rogue One where Darth Vader decimates everyone, and she's cheering. I'm just like, yeah, you're evil, but I like it.
Yeah, smart girl.
we get to see another thing just like that in the second to last Clone Wars episode, except this time it's Maul and he doesn't have a lightsaber. It's just the Force compared to Darth Vader actually using his lightsaber.
One of the cool things about the last few episodes of the Clone Wars is that they did motion capture for the fights with Darth Maul and like Ahsoka. And the original guy that played Darth Maul did the motion capture for it. So it looked really cool.
Oh, nice. Ray Park, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So question, and I know, Kate, like you don't know that much about them because it's more in the extended universe, but if you had Darth Maul versus Grievous, who would win? Badger, you go first.
Grievous.
I'm torn on this, but I think it's more likely to be Grievous.
We'll get to you. What did you say, Badger?
I think it's more likely to be Grievous because Maul he's good, but he's also. Are we talking pre falling down the pit Maul or post falling down the pit Maul?
Clone Wars Maul.
Clone Wars.
Better.
At that point, the cybernetic legs become less of an advantage for Grievous.
Yeah.
I still think maybe Grievous, but it's going to be a lot closer after that.
Do I get my say now?
Go ahead. You can talk.
In canon, Darth Maul kicks both Dooku's and Grievous's ass and ends up capturing the both of them, and is only eventually overpowered because Sidious has to step in.
Hang on. In canon,
There's
Maul
a,
beat Dooku.
a whole bunch of comic series that were made canon. I actually have a couple of them.
Is it Disney or
where-
Marvel?
Yeah, it's one of the two, but I mean, technically it's still canon either way because they're quite new and they fit directly into the storyline.
So I would consider them non-canon then.
They specifically
if
say
Marvel's canon.
yeah.
Marvel's canon.
I am a Legends purist, so yeah.
See, I'm a bit of a 1 through 6 purist myself.
See, I'm the other way. I with the exception of number 8, I enjoyed Disney. I thought Rise of Skywalker was probably the best of the Star Wars movies.
I am going to strangle you.
And I say that in all seriousness. It was brilliant. It was absolutely. It fixed number 8 as much as it could because number 8 was an absolute cluster. Look, number 7 was just a remake of A New Hope. But absolutely, it was a remake. It was fan service. But number 9, it dug into it. It tackled the lore. It really. Palpatine was in it.
Yeah, fuck Palpatine. Fuck his stupid face. By the way, they've had to.
Someone did. That's how he's got a granddaughter.
He says bye. By the way, does he though? Because it's technically one of his clones is the grandfather.
Yeah, it's a daughter of his clone. So yeah.
I don't know. The one thing that a lot of like shows and movies do is either bring back dead characters or take characters who have nothing to do with each other and bring them together for no good reason or whatever. I mean, gosh, Joss Whedon is the worst at this. But I mean, it just seems so forced. It's like, give us something new. You know, if a character's dead, let them stay dead, please.
What did she say, Chris? Chris.
Yeah.
No, what did Lissy just tell you?
She hit me and she said, "Stop teasing Amanda." even though she knows that. I mean, I'll straight up. I go to the midnight premiere of all of them. I've been to the midnight premiere ever since a mate of mine was in episode 2, which was all shot in Australia. He had a very, very important part. He was a Senate guard, so one of the Red Senate guards. That's my mate Fletch. So a stack of us went to the midnight premiere. So it's been a bit of a tradition. Any Star Wars movie, with the exception of Solo, I've midnight premiered. And I tell you what, I was so after having seen the shit show that was The Last Jedi. I walked out of The Rise of Skywalker just going, that was absolutely amazing. It made me feel like I was a kid watching Star Wars again. It felt like, I know that people don't like the Disney thing and, Rey's a bit of a Mary Sue, but
Ugh,
It
fucking
just
Ray.
Luke Skywalker's a Mary Sue as well.
No, he's not. Luke is flawed out the ass.
Yeah.
So's Ray.
I don't know. Okay, to be fair, after what was it, Rogue One, I gave the hell up on those movies made by the company that shall not be named, and I just said, wow, they don't even understand Star Wars. This is crap. I'm out.
Oh, see, Rogue One for me, I thought Rogue One it really filled that hole of, why
Utter
would you go into
garbage.
Death Star?
There was no, like, let's put it this way. It felt like watching somebody else play a video game. It was like the characters had no development whatsoever, to the point where I don't remember even one name of them. They never made me care. And the sign of a good, well-told story is when I give a shit if a character is going to die or not. And honestly, by the end of Rogue One, I was like, so what? I don't care about any of these people. Fuck them. Let them die.
See, for me, I knew they'd die, because there was no way that they couldn't die, because they were just
That's
completely
not the
absent from the.
point, though. The point is that they were badly written. They like, the only difference between them was who played them, and that's it.
Yeah, I once again, I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. And look, I'm not just a fanboy because I hated The Last Jedi. Absolutely loathed The Last Jedi with every ounce of my being. But I thought Rogue One was, look, it was a little bit, there was a few things that were a little bit camp, but I don't know, it kind of felt fun. It was fun.
It was shallow, and I didn't care for it. I wanted more of a story. Again, they have to make me care about the characters for me to enjoy the movie.
Oh, look, there was some characters that were like the blind Jedi wannabe. He was, I don't even know what he was doing there, and he's, it was.
And you know what? Forrest Whitaker always looks like he's on the verge of tears, and I can't stand that about him.
Ugh, I know,
Yeah,
right?
see that was a bit of a dumb, like, why he didn't jump on the ship with him and why he insisted on waiting there and dying.
Well, no, I don't even mean the character. I mean the actor. And everything he's in, he looks like he's just this close to crying all the time.
Well, he's got something he's very good at, and he sticks with it.
Yeah, but it's not always appropriate for the character he's playing.
No, but look, we all have our talents, and that's his. So
I'm biting my tongue here, but I can't keep it bitten for much longer.
Very bad job.
The Disney films are uncanon and they're terrible. Ah!
Ned,
don't
I
talk to
agree.
me.
I
Tell it to
totally
Kylo.
agree.
Tell it to Kylo.
Hang on, let me get my microphone back out of where I threw it.
Oh, and that's another thing. Dude playing Kylo Ren, I can't even look at him. He's an ugly fucker. Hey,
Kylo's a cheap rip-off of Jason Solo.
Oh, he's absolutely Jason Solo.
He's an
Absolutely
inferior
Jason Solo.
imitation of Jason Solo.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna talk about fucking whiny ass characters. I mean, come the fuck. Like, and I admit that I cried when Kylo died. It was sad.
Whoa. Kylo didn't die.
At least at the very
Ben
for
died.
fuck me, if it wasn't, everything is a goddamn existential crisis for him. Fucking internet again.
throws
Sorry.
temper tantrums. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, his temper tantrum in whatever the fuck the first Disney movie was. It's just his like, oh, I'm gonna take out my lightsaber and slice stuff up like I'm a whiny teenager in the 90s. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Him in the fucking mask too.
There was one death that really got me in the whole new trilogy, and that was this guy. How the hell can they kill Akbar so poorly?
It's crap.
That was fucking insulting. And
It was absolutely insulting. The
I'm
last
gonna
it was
slap Ryan Johnson in the face.
Can we leave
Also,
off
it was
the trilogy?
insulting. It was insulting to the actor. He's the actor who is sadly no longer around. As if I'm remembering this correctly, he came back to play Akbar, and basically got, here you are. You get sucked out of a window. You can hold this little board and say that it's a wrap at the end of the filming, and then you can fuck off again.
Yeah. They just shoehorned him in to be like, hey, remember this guy? It was fucked up.
It was like fan service done wrong.
Yeah.
So, okay, does anyone else think that Star Wars takes place in our universe because of ET?
Because of
Yeah.
ET? I've
ET
heard this
is
before.
like the ET creatures, whatever the frig they are in the Senate. You
And
see them
Caravan,
in the Senate.
the-
So if they also visit Earth at some point, clearly Star Wars is set in our universe, which makes one wonder how long ago is a long time ago.
well, the
Yeah.
Caravan of Courage. I mean, the Ewok movies that's got people from Earth
What?
on Endor.
How are they from Earth? I thought they were Corellians.
No, they're humans from Earth.
When do they say that?
Oh, I haven't seen this movie for years and years, but I remember that was a thing. They were from Earth, and it was our universe.
Well, I've got it on disc, and I've watched it recently, and I don't remember them saying a damn thing about Earth.
Really?
Really?
Okay, I could be wrong on that. So it's like those what do they call
My
it?
issue with the Ewok films,
The Mandela effect.
the Mandalore effect. I'll tell you my issue with the Ewok films. They do not make sense continuity-wise because they teach Wicket.
The first one at least, like I said, we had it on
They
videotape.
teach
Fuck
Wicket
me.
to speak
God damn it.
English.
So
They teach Wicket to speak
I liked
English
it, I guess.
Galactic Basic in the Ewok films, and then in Return of the Jedi, he's forgotten it again. So they don't
Well,
make
that-
sense
and-
continuity-wise.
So little of it makes sense in the first place. I mean, where that scene where what's his face, the young boy, like touches a pond, and the next thing you know, he's underneath it and can't get out because there's some sort of invisible barrier, or well, not invisible. It looks like ice keeping him underwater. It's like what?
Yeah, it was a movie for the times.
Yeah.
The audience.
it
Yeah.
didn't age well.
I have never seen the Star Wars Christmas special, and I'm not sure I want to.
I
I know you have to. You
Right.
have to.
Save yourself. Run.
And the thing I'm going to say is as follows: the Disney films make that look good.
Yeah.
Well, the last Jedi
Yeah.
does.
Oh, hush you.
And Solo. And Solo was rubbish. I'll give it that.
And
Well, I think the because wasn't there was a story in it's EU now, I think, but the Journal of the Wills, and the Journal of the Wills was written, and then at the end of it finds its way to San Francisco or wherever it was that George Lucas was living, and he gets the copy and makes the movie. There was an EU book on that. It may have actually been called the Journal of the Wills, and the Wills have been incorporated into the new canon.
there is no new
I
canon.
don't give a shit what's been incorporated in the new canon.
Yeah.
I gotta go dig it up somewhere. I swear I still have it, but I have the graphic novel called The Star Wars, where it was like Lucas's original idea
Oh,
for
yeah.
Star Wars
Yeah.
that was made into comic form. I don't remember much about it, but I remember it being interesting, and it had a very, very different flavor. It was kind of like the Star Wars radio drama in a way, because there's so much in that was later contradicted by the movies that came after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they bought it out a few years ago. It was a really good read. I remember I read it, but I don't have it myself. But that was a good read.
Okay, I've been waiting to crack into this. Well, we're talking about what's canon and what's not, and what pisses people off. How say ye regarding
Oh, that. Man, I haven't read that since high school.
Clearly not canon.
Do you just have everything, Junk Shop?
not
Literally the name.
everything.
It's literally in the name.
Okay.
Right. Splinter
Okay, was anyone else kind of bothered about Luke and Leia being siblings?
Because they
It's
kissed?
really forced.
It felt very forced. Well, the original plan was the sequel trilogy was going to be where they looked for Luke's sister, because that's the whole there is another Skywalker wasn't originally meant to be for Leia, but obviously they, thinking that was going to be the last of the movies, they crammed it in. But
think part of
Wait. When did they think that was going to be the last of the movies?
Well, the original plan for the originally planned that there was going to be a sequel series, and the idea of the sequel series was Luke's sister.
Well, I mean, the fact that Han Solo was frozen in carbonite, clearly that was a cliffhanger that needed to be resolved. There's no way.
Oh no, I'm talking about like Return of the Jedi was originally, they didn't think they'd go beyond that.
Right. Okay, but they started the whole like Luke has a sibling thing in Empire.
No, it was in Jedi.
Well, no, I mean we knew. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Lucas knew that it was going to be Leia before Jedi was released. I think he knew at the time Empire was being built.
I think part of it though is that you expected Luke and Leia to get together because they were, he was the main character and she was the main woman, and by making them siblings and her being with Han, it kind of subverted expectations. I think that's one of the reasons.
I have to take back what I said. Because the whole incestuous kiss at the beginning of Empire is a little twisted now. Although actually knowing that Leia had no idea that Luke was her brother, it kind of is okay. But if the authors knew,
I don't think there's anything wrong with the authors making the audience feel a little bit icky.
I mean, okay, you have a point, but nah.
It could even add to the tension of them discovering it later and then going, "Oh yeah, we did that."
So on Tatooine, do you think there's an industry for blue cheese?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go, right?
I'm just saying.
I think that's probably. I'm pretty sure that Luke would have blue pizzas.
Oh wow, blue pizza would be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, it kind of would.
So we've seen how much you love blue milk.
So we've been doing this for an hour and a half. We can wrap it up now. Go around and anybody has any last words. We'll start with you, Badger.
Disney is non-canon, Legends only.
Thank you. Kate?
These will definitely not be my last words, but I will say that, yeah, I agree with Badger. Fuck Disney right in its stupid face.
Thank you.
All right. Junk Shop?
There is a trilogy of movies called the Star Wars Trilogy that has a fantastic expanded universe that spun off from it. 3 movies. 3.
Okay. 3. Gotcha.
So we're talking about the Phantom Menace and all of those.
We're going to get less and less as we go around. But by the time we get back to you, only the first one.
Chris?
All I've got to say is beep, 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 beep.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming. Thanks you guys in the panel for coming and talking Star Wars. Fuck you, Chris. Thank you to Dave Weatherleave. Thank you to Matt Pig who produced, and thank you everybody for coming in the chat. Happy May the 4th. See you guys next time.
Yes.
Bye.
Yeah.